Well, grief is a mother. If you're new here, my name is Ashley, and this is the Pink Sofa. Come sit with me. So I had to pull up some notes, right? Because even with my notes, because I tried to re-record this about a couple times, and yeah, it's very long-winded. I just kind of want this to be short, sweet, and simple. But grief is not short, sweet, and simple. Grief happens for the rest of your life. Time does not heal all wounds. It just makes you able to adjust and live a little bit better without that person, place, or thing there. So there's that. And the thing that's holding you back the most is actually the ability, the inability more so of, you're letting go of your understanding and leaning on God, the Most High, whoever you believe in, if you do believe in somebody, and looking at it from their perspective instead of your own. So in this episode, we will be talking about my mom's passing a little bit and how that affected my my life. So just a quick synopsis. My mom, she had breast cancer 3 different times. First time it was directly breast cancer, and then if people they know, breast cancer the second time, third time, however many times it comes back, it does not come back directly in the breast. It comes back anywhere else on the body. It's still the same cells though. So my mom, when I was 11, had breast cancer, was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer, and she almost passed from that the first time. Hospital visits, everything else like that. Hot mess. Second time she had it, she found out about it in the back, from her spine. It was all over her spine, and then it miraculously went away. She was already moved from New York. It's just a whole complicated story. My mom, she was in the military, so I'm a military child. So we were in Maryland. My mom was at that point stationed in New York, and so she ended up being able to move back home because she obviously didn't have anybody up there. So then right after she came back, she was diagnosed with cancer again. It came right back. So she was battling it for a year. She was battling it for actually over a year, because I was 16 going on 17 when it came back. And so basically the cancer ended up taking my mom's life in May of 2016. So I was 18 going on 19. And she unfortunately passed away. After my mom passed, I just really, I felt alone. It was just me, my dad, and my sister, and we had to pick up the pieces. We had to pick up the pieces of everything that we lost, and my mom really was my rock. I didn't have the best relationship with my dad at that time, and me and my sister, we were close, but not as close as we are now. So we all were dealing with grief in our own little ways, and for me, it was one of those things where I knew that after she passed, I knew that she wasn't in pain anymore. So it gave me some type of solace that, she's in a better place. But there was just so many unanswered questions that I had. Not even questions, because I asked all the right questions that I needed to ask before my mom passed. I asked her, so I was able to get that type of closure before she passed. So I was completely okay when it came to her actually transitioning, even though I only had 12 days for me to process the fact that she was passing. But I was grieving not only my mom, I was grieving the person who I leaned on the most, and I was also grieving the what ifs, the dreams that I had, because I always pictured my mom being there. I was grieving what could be or what could have been in time. I thought that me and my mom were going to be old and gray together, some of those other people were there 80 and their mom is or 70 something and their mom is 90, whatever. I thought it was going to be like that, not me 18 and my mom 44. So it just happened in the blink of an eye. And initially every day I prayed. I mean, all the time I was praying and praying and praying. And we also were dealing with just like the lack of support. And that just made things a lot harder. But I just kept on praying and asking for, just saying, like, trying not to question God, until one day I started questioning God, because after about a month or so, it's like it really, really hit me every single time that I would go by the hospital that my mom passed in, or I would hear certain songs on the radio, or, certain places that we used to eat at, or even just staying in my mom's house. I couldn't even sleep from the time that everything took place. And, I had to call the ambulance, I had to call my sister, I had to call my dad, and all that stuff like that, like multiple times. I mean, it was for over an hour, way over an hour. It was actually a good couple hours that I had to do that, until finally the hospice nurse came, the ambulance came, my sister eventually came to the hospital, my dad, finally, was able to answer the phone and other things like that. Like I said, I'm not going into the semantics, but that is my experience. But regardless, I just began to question, like, why did you have to take her the way that you took her? Why did things happen? My mom didn't deserve to pass like that, and just so many things, right? I just didn't understand. So one thing, especially in this past couple months, I had to get over. I felt a lot of things. I felt betrayal. I felt extremely betrayed by my mom. I mean, like, betrayed. And like, it's not like I could call her up and be like, what did you actually say, or whatever the case may be. I couldn't do that. And I also had to stop and look back and see exactly where she was mentally at that point in her life. And it really taught me how to forgive, because I was angry. I mean, I started feeling really, 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 really angry. Our privacy was also invaded. And we also had to realize as well, whatever other people's perceptions are about a situation or anything else like that, without a full understanding, that's just their perception. There's nothing else that I could do about that. I had to come to terms with the fact that, people are going to view things the way that they're going to view them, even me. And I also knew, me and my sister, we were my mom's entire world, despite anything else. My mom, and both my parents, but just speaking about my mom, she made decisions that really were for me and my sister. I mean, she sacrificed a lot for me and my sister. So, yeah, I really had to really sit back, look, and see, just kind of, you have to meet people exactly where they are in life, and you have to learn to forgive, and you have to learn to let go. We always say time heals all wounds, but it doesn't heal all wounds. It just allows you to adapt and allows you to adjust a little bit better than what it was before. And you're gonna have times where you're sad. You're gonna have times where you're angry and you're hurt and you're in denial still. I mean, I couldn't be in denial. I have no choice but to accept the fact that my mom was gone. I couldn't make any excuse, or maybe she went to the store or anything else like that. It was very traumatic for me. But yeah, me and my sister's privacy was invaded. My own mom's privacy was invaded. A lot of things that were done, we just didn't agree with, and it did play a part in the way that I took grief. I mean, I took how I grieved this entire situation. And so now, as a 27-year-old woman compared to an 18-year-old blooming woman, that's what I'll say, because you're not a girl when you're 18, but you're also not a woman either. But I lean on the understanding of God, and I know that God always, whether it's in the Bible or just other things, if you're just a spiritual person, that there's always, you don't you go to a different place when you pass. It doesn't have to be whatever you believe in. Me, I don't believe in cloud, like, oh, there's someone in the clouds and all that stuff like that. Like, no. Hell is a mindset, and heaven is just the afterlife. So spirits, they do communicate with you and on the other side, especially your loved ones. And I was able to really feel my mom's connection after she passed, and so it allowed me to really have a little bit more understanding than what I had before, in a different way, to where I was able to cope with things, and I would feel my mom's presence when I really needed her. I mean, I had a lot of really traumatic things happen after my mom passed, and so not only was I still grieving as a 18, 19-year-old, I had a lot of really messed up things happen. And like within that first year after my mom passed, and so I was just like, dang, like I really started questioning, like, if my mom was alive, like would any of this have happened to me? But you never know. You never know. It probably still could have. But I really started to lean on outer understanding compared to my inner understanding, because if you always try to lean on your inner understanding as to why someone isn't here or why a situation didn't happen, it doesn't have to just refer to my mom. It could just refer to anything that you're grieving, because you could grieve a job, you could grieve a relationship, you can grieve anything, honestly. Like, it's just a loss of something, you know. But anything that you've lost, remember, God always gives back to you, whether it's in a different form or whether it's in a just a different type of understanding. It doesn't always have to be something is replaced, but you are able to get some type of peace back to you. And I had to learn that in order for me to fully move on, people, they think that when you grieve and you still live on with your life, that means that you moved on and that person no longer matters, or you forget about the person. You're never going to forget about that person. I promise you. It doesn't matter what it is that you do. You can drink, you can smoke, you can do all these things to try and forget, but you can never forget about that person, especially if, you know, they're a parent, or especially if they're just someone who is very, very close to you, and you want to honor them in the best way that you know how to. And so, yeah, you want to honor them in the best way that you know how to, and sometimes that takes time. If I were to like fully honor my mom, well, honestly, honoring my mom to me, it's just living the life that you're supposed to live and be happy, because that's all my mom ever wanted to be, was happy, and she just wanted to live life. And she was a very caring person, and she loved to have fun. There's a lot of things that I didn't know about my mom, and there's things that I'm figuring out, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you can't go back in time and change things. That's why I said time does not heal all wounds, but it does allow you to. It allows you to make things a little bit better. You could, you can adjust and, you know, live life, because that's what anybody who, especially if we're talking about grief of someone who has passed on to the other side, they will want you to live. They will want you to live and move forward. Doesn't mean move on and be like, bye, you're gone. Like, no, it means move forward and live. I'm not talking about just going about your day-to-day. I mean, live. Do what it is that you want to do, because remember, you never know when your time is. So yeah, it just is. Yeah. And I know as well, like, if my mom was here, I wouldn't be the person that I am today, because I had to lose my mom in order for me to have those extreme experiences, in order to shape me and to be the woman that I am today, despite no guidance from a female figure. So yeah, it's been complicated. It's been tough. Hopefully it's not all over I always say that every single video. Hopefully it's not all over the place, but I really hope that this is not all over the place, because I've had to re-record this so many times. So yeah, with that, I'll say keep yourself give yourself grace, give yourself time for you to process it, no matter how long it takes. I even had to learn as well how to understand another person's perspective, even if it's not right. Still understand the person's perspective, still allow yourself to feel the feelings that you feel and the emotions that you feel, and move forward, because staying in one place and one mindset is just not going to help you. It's not going to help you. It's not going to help that other person. It's not even going to help the person that you're grieving. So yeah, with all that, I wish you all the best, and I pray that you give out the love that you pray to receive, and I pray that you get you receive the love that God always has for you. Okay? I love you. Goodbye. And thank you for joining the Pink Sofa. Make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Let me know what you think. I can't really, if there's any Bible verses, I'll probably put them down in the description box. But honestly, I'm trying to cater to more than just people who are Christians. I'm trying to cater to everybody. So that's just my understanding and my stuff on grief, or my perspective on grief. So yeah, I love you all. Have a great night. As you can see, the sun is setting over here.